Like,
Pylon listeners, welcome back to the podcast and NFC North podcast, talking everything NFC North and recapping Week 10 of the NFL season. Oh boy, things are getting down to the wire here, and we have a lot to talk about as three of our teams won this weekend. But before we get into it, I'm Big Z representing the Detroit Lions. Let's go around to the rest of the crew. We got Barney representing the Bears.
Fuck you, Big Z.
Then we got Remy representing the Vikings.
keep hope, Viking fans. There's still hope.
And then last but not least, Kinger representing the Pack.
Boys, good to be back with you. Feels like ages. My apologies for last week, but happy to be back. Go Pack.
All right, so a lot to get into, but let's first cover this Monday night game. We're recording this like half an hour after the game is wrapped up. The Vikings take a 19-13 victory on the road in Chicago, a place where they've struggled mightily. But it was a very ugly game, to say the least. But Remy, your team pulls it out. How you feeling about the Vikings? This is 3 in a row, right?
Yeah, this is 3 in a row. What I've noticed right out the gate is our defensive line has been able to get pressure, and that's specifically with DJ Wanham, 98. He is a beast. He was the one that tracked down Aaron Rodgers on that final play, and he did something similar tonight to Foles. But no, I mean, this was just back and forth from Kyle Rudolph's fumble in the beginning. I said, here we go. Their defense is ready to play. It was frustrating because, well, number one, I was working and editing a news show, but on the same side, I was watching it simultaneously, but it was frustrating seeing you guys. I held Dalvin Cook to like 3.3 yards a carry. He ended up with 96, but he did not score. So
on 30 carries.
And every Viking fan that had Dalvin anytime touchdown score in your parlay, sorry, guys. But no, and you guys did a phenomenal job at stopping Dalvin, and it came down to Kirk Cousins making plays when they matter. And we all saw Adam Thielen when that caused the interception when he didn't catch it. Adam Thielen also had a drop ball in the end zone, but he also then made up for it by catching 2 in the end zone. But you look at those guys that really made the game-changing plays is guys like Justin Jefferson. On 2nd and 9, he's got an out route to make it 3rd and 2, and convert. Or because he finished with like a game high of like 163 yards on like 8, right?
Justin, 8 for 135.
135, yeah. And he just, he didn't score, but he continues to be trusted by Kirk and is able to make a big play. Our defense is getting there. We've gelled with what we've got. We've got the players on there. They may not be their starting core, but they're starting to gel, and it was ugly. And I feel like a Chicago Bears saying it, but we got the win. And you got to look at our next upcoming games. We got the Cowboys at home, the Panthers at home, and the Jaguars at home. We could be 7-5 by December 6th.
All right.
Winnable games.
I mean, yeah, their fortunes have really changed. What do you think is the biggest reason for that change? What's the
offensive line getting Dalvin Cook and Kirk got in his way. The Bears defense held us in check. It's Kirk Cousins stepping up and making those throws, not getting rattled and just tucking. I know there was a couple plays where he threw it to Dalvin and Dalvin was able to make the first. But our offensive line has made it easy to get Dalvin going, sell the play action. And then our pass rush. Our D line has been great.
Yeah, but so and Barney and Kinger, you can attest. Remy was saying before this, he's in love with Kirk Cousins now, but was he not a few weeks ago?
I'm not
on
in
the
love
anti
with Kirk
Cousins train.
He does.
No, I'm
does
asking Barney and Kinger to.
He
back
does
this
what
up.
he does to win games. But okay, proceed.
You know what? I'm not gonna shoot him down because he at least he was friendly right there in his few minutes after the victory. So I'll just say, if he's gonna have a game, it was a good game to have it against a team that has, like a solid defense like the Bears do. I think he did exactly what he needed to do to win the game. I do think a huge contributing factor was the fact that Akeem went down the third. I think
what happened with that? Because I was watching and then I went to like edit something and looked back and saw he was on the sideline because he was owning Dalvin Cook.
I don't know what the injury is. It kind of looked like he came up lame with, what just seemed like it was like a hamstring, strain or something like that, the way he kind of jumped upward. But I don't know what it is. But, once he went down, I still felt comfortable because I still think our defense is good enough. But, you could just see that the holes were at least opening up a little bit more without that guy in the middle.
Yeah. So Barney, your team gets 2 turnovers, a special teams touchdown. The Vikings screw up an extra point.
That was huge.
And you guys only lose by 6. What are you feeling about that? What could they do on offense at this point? Matt Nagy wasn't calling plays for this game. Maybe he needs to go back to calling plays after this offensive performance. I don't know. I'm just trying to see, is there any sort of positive anywhere on this offense right now?
What do you think, buddy? I mean, it's.
I don't know. I'm trying to help you out to spin it anyway.
Yeah,
I don't
know. No. I would not welcome back Nagy. Calling plays again. I think he's a fucking idiot. But this is what we get. This is just Bears. This is what the Bears have been since like the 90s. We haven't had an offense. We don't know what an offense is, clearly. Nick Foles had 106 passing yards versus a team that has 4th-string cornerbacks out there. I mean, it's not like he had all day to throw back there. I mean, but that's, again, like structurally, the Bears have no idea what the fuck they're doing. Pace is an idiot. I mean, we're coming up on the deadline, and there's offensive line help out there, but he's still comfortable with a converted defensive tackle who's not even good enough to be in the league as a defensive tackle. It bothers me that I trick myself into getting excited for games each week, because I know damn well, and like every preview I give you guys, that it's gonna be ugly. But I still have the faith that the Bears D is going to do enough, because scoring a touchdown on any team, let alone a team that's depleted like the Vikings, is not that hard to do. Yet here we are, and we didn't have an offensive score. I don't know how many yards total the Bears offense had, but I mean, I think it was under like 200.
It was under 150.
Yeah, exactly. 150 fucking yards. I mean, it's brutal. You have dumbass Dwayne Harris. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, can we just get somebody who I don't even care about catching punts anymore. I really don't. Let's just bring that extra guy and try to block the fucking punt. I do not understand why the fuck we care about fielding that punt, because we're just going to do a 3-and-out anyway. All right? So we might as well try to do a 3-and-out after blocking a punt and having the ball in field goal position. But dude, it's scheduled disappointment at this time. It's just each week I'm just looking forward to this stuff, and even when we win, like we got 5 wins on the board, but all 5 of those victories, there wasn't one time when I smiled during those games. So it's pathetic. I think all of Hallis Hall should just burn the fuck down, because they keep making the same mistakes over and over again, and just acting like there's no big issue at all. And I don't know. I mean, Nick Foles looks like he got seriously banged up, which I don't mean to be an asshole, but I couldn't give a fuck. Like, at this point, I'm fine with him being hurt, because I just want his ass. He clearly cannot do what he needs to do with our team to win. So let's get
Trubisky inactive.
Let's get his payroll off the fucking books. Yeah, Trubisky's inactive. But I mean, like, it's how dumb we are. All right, we're sitting here with 40 seconds left in the game. Tyler Bray comes in, right? And like, it's like, Tyler, just hang your nuts out and sling it. Like, nobody expects us to win this game at all. And what do we do with no timeouts? We throw it to Ryan Nall, our third string running back, like 5 yards in front of the line of scrimmage in the middle of the field. And I'm like, this team does not want. Yeah, but it took off almost the entire clock.
That wasn't the worst play of the sequence.
No.
The worst play was the last one where they ran a 7-yard route when they needed 10 yards. He missed the throw.
Yeah, I mean, and did you see before that throw happened, they had to show like a panoramic view of the field because the Vikings defenders, like their 4 secondary players, were like 50 yards back.
Yeah.
There was nothing but room, but all of a sudden, like when there's nothing but room, you can't hit a fucking wide open dude. Like, just I don't know. It's laughable how fucking bad this team is, and everyone in that organization, every single one of them deserves to just get fucking mollywopped in the fucking head. I just don't understand how these people can make the money that they make and make the decisions that they make, and some dumbass like me who's sitting on the couch, can just tell you without even opening up his eyes what the fuck's wrong with the offense, but they just refuse to address it.
Yeah. And the Bears are going into bye week next week, right, Barney?
Yeah. From here on out, we're 5-5. I don't know what our quarterback status will be for 2 weeks from now. I don't know what Trubisky looks like, and I don't know what Nick Foles looks like. But hey, I think Ryan Pace will go into this next game saying that Tyler Bray has nothing but we have nothing but confidence in Tyler Bray, just like we do with our shitty offensive line, and it'll just be more and more the same. I don't think there's going to be much of a drop off. I mean, like, the offense is already so fucking bad that I don't think it really will fucking matter, because if there's just not like a defensive touchdown or, a turnover with inside the red zone, there's just nothing that can fucking help this offense.
Can you guys think of a team in recent history that is so good, has been so good on one side of the ball, and yet as bad as the Bears are on the offensive side? I mean, when you look at bad teams, really, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, the Bears bottom 3 in all offensive categories, defense, towards the top in all of them. I mean, I can't really think of a situation like that, and it's pretty crazy that I almost was on this Bears hype train. Barney, I told you off air earlier this year that I think I saw a path to 10 wins for the Bears, and looking at that now, that was an absolutely bizarre statement by me. The holes on the offensive end just continue to be exposed week in and week out. And I will say, I feel for you, Barney. I will sympathize for Bears fans because I don't think I was giving the defense as much credit as I should have been early on in the year, and they're proven to be very good. And week in and week out, you continue to have the same frustrations. It has to be absolutely infuriating. And I will say, I'll give you some sympathy there, buddy.
I have had the same frustrations for the last 28 years. I mean, I don't.
Since you're born.
I just don't understand how, we could just like act like this is just, like it's not something that we need to address. But, I will say I apologize for my future lack of enthusiasm going forward, because at this point, with the year that we've had, dude, I wish nothing but misery. I want nothing but bad things to happen to our staff, like very, very mean things to happen. And now I'm sounding like a very bad person. And I'm a good person. But this is what the Bears team does to me. It wishes misery on other people. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep tuning in each week to see if we can score a touchdown. Maybe that should be the prop bet for the Bears. An anytime touchdown by the offense plus 1,000.
Oh man, Remy, since your team won here, I just want to give you the last word before we move on to the Packers here. Just how you feeling about going into next week? And also, I wanted to ask you, do you think this is more a product of the Bears being bad or the Vikings improving on the defensive side of the ball and being good? What do you think happened here tonight?
We definitely improved on the defensive side, but I mean, it comes down to one play, and that one play was that Anthony Miller miss. That if he makes that's very slim chance Minnesota can come back, especially after that missed extra point. So
wait, what missed? The touchdown throw or the throw that was a little bit behind?
The touchdown throw with a seam route.
And Barney, wait, really quick. Do you think that was on Anthony Miller or Nick Foles, that first interception that
it was
thrown
just a little bit
behind?
Overthrown?
I mean, it's not like it was the perfect throw. I won't say it wasn't, but I don't know. I come from a family that says if it hits you in the hands, you fucking catch the ball. But Anthony Miller, I don't even care that Nick Foles overthrew the touchdown pass because I'm sure as shit positive that Anthony would have found a way to drop the ball anyway. I mean, he had like 4 drops today. I don't know. I don't know why we keep whatever.
Back to your point, Big Z. Going forward, we got Dallas, which we got Andy Dalton there. I think we're taking teams now who are vulnerable, and we're starting to find a rhythm. And our defense has a little bit of swagger in them now that they've won 3 divisional games in a row, coming off of their bye. We got guys getting off of the injuries, like our corners. We're starting to get some depth at corner, which, it's the first time I've said that all season. But I think this Minnesota team is slowly rising, and if we can, win the next 3, we can be 7-5 by December 6th.
And Lions and Vikings play each other last game of the season.
That might be
for the playoffs.
Yeah, that might be that might be for the playoffs.
That'd be a great scenario for me. That'd be a great scenario.
Be a fun game.
All right, let's move on now to the Packers Jaguars recap here. 13.5 point favorite Kinger, and also causing a lot of heartache to Barney over there. What do you have, a 10-team parlay, you said, Barney, and you lost on the Packers because they couldn't cover by 5 points?
10-team parlay going from Thursday all the way through to the Bears Monday night. Everybody covered. Everybody won. I brought the Packers down from 13.5 down to 4.5, thinking, this team, I don't think the Packers are a good team. I don't think that. But I think 4.5 should be fine versus second worst team in the entire NFL. But it's just Bears, being a Bears fan, man. I gotta watch this bullshit on Monday night, and then I gotta watch the Packers. I gotta watch the Packers win a game. But fuck me, I don't get it.
So, Kinger, what do you think of this Packers game? A little shaky, no?
Yeah, it's rough life being a Bears fan, Barney. I'm sorry, man. But, looking at last week and when I was doing some prep before all my difficulties last week with the podcast, it was pretty much going to be the same narrative coming in as we've had the last couple. Supposedly here a superior team playing the inferior team, Jacksonville Jaguars, as Barney already mentioned, one of the worst teams in the league. On paper, looked like it was setting up for Green Bay to hopefully show some dominance. And, yeah, Jacksonville game a game. There was some different circumstances that were presented to Green Bay. Not going to make an excuse in the weather because it wasn't as bad as some of the earlier games this season, but cold, windy day in Green Bay with a little bit of rain sprinkled in. Green Bay down their starting 2 corners. Jacksonville showed up. They were ready to go. It's the first time all season the Packers were stopped on the opening drive. And quite frankly, as soon as Jacksonville returned that kick, you kind of knew as a Packers fan, or the punt, you knew as a Packers fan you were going to buckle in, and it was probably going to be a pretty good game. for some reason, the Packers have just showed up flat. Sometimes this season, you can't quite explain it. Matt LaFleur was asked about it again after the game, and he's kind of gives the same candid response. I think we need to evaluate things internally as a coaching staff, starting with me, and then addressing it from there down. And I think it's definitely a little bit of a cause of concern as to why we continue to have that. But looking back at some of the footage today of the game, it actually wasn't as bad as it looked on TV. I really think you got to give credit to Jacksonville in a certain sense. I mean, offensively, they were banged up, and it is Jake Luton. So, it was actually the expectation was Green Bay would dominate. But again, they've been vulnerable in the run game this season, and without their starting two cornerbacks, to me, it felt like, there was some potential that Jacksonville could make it a game, and they showed it. So, back to the point about them starting slow, it's a question. But again, they figured out a way to get a W. There were some really good individual performances yesterday that, as a Packers fan, you can get really excited about. Again, it's the Jaguars, but progress in the right direction, and a win is a win in the NFL.
Hey, and Marquez Valdes-Scantling stepping up, huh? 78-yard touchdown on this one, catching the ball. It's always nice to see that out of him.
Absolutely. Marquez stepped up big time yesterday, and it was, it was much needed. Devontae was obviously a factor, but he was battling a little bit what appeared to be an ankle injury for a little bit. I think that was what the diagnosis. He ended up getting back in the game, but it was big for Marquez. Super happy to hear it. To see him succeed. Came up in obviously a couple real crucial catches. The bomb early in the game when he used a little bit of the referee there as a little bit of a shield to help him get in the end zone, and then another crossing route late in the game for I think 17 or maybe it was 30 yards. Very excited. As I've always said, he's a physical specimen, and when he plays well, it's tough to guard him.
Yeah, and a big story in the NFL in general this weekend with all the wind across the Midwest. What's that? The second game the Packers have played in with 20+ mile per hour winds this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's made for some interesting games up there in Green Bay. And that seems to be they go against their type of offense, especially with Aaron Rodgers being the vocal point.
Yeah, and it's something too that was being addressed. I've seen from a lot of the beat writers on Twitter, and some of the things is like, Green Bay is supposed to be the cold weather team, and we've shown that those type of weather games and the cold weather games, we necessarily don't look like we're really built to be that cold weather traditional Green Bay team that's holds down Lambeau Field and is invincible to cold or whatnot. So. It's definitely a little bit of a something to watch going forward, especially you got a team like Jacksonville coming up, their Florida team coming up, and that's definitely a shockwave for them. So it is what it is. We're on the road next week in Indy in a dome, so we'll see if anything happens differently then.
So James Robinson had 23 carries for 109 yards. Again, not a great day on the ground for the Packers' run defense. So what's going on there? Are they missing? Is somebody injured that I'm missing, or is it scheme? What is going on there?
So the linebackers are still obviously a little bit of issue for the Green Bay defense. It was nice to get Christian Kirksey back, and he was active this week. He had 7 tackles. Kamal Martin had not a ton of snaps this week, but he was pretty effective when he gets in there. But the D-line, again, outside of that, really struggled outside of Kenny Clark. I want to give a special shout-out to him. He actually had his highest, I think I saw earlier, it was one of his highest rated run defensive games in his career. He actually was beast out there, really disrupting the backfield, blowing up the offensive line. He got Norwell a couple times, real good, reading screen plays. Kenny was very active out there. But outside of him, you're right, there was still lacking it. And just the overall physicality. Robinson, I think, is an underrated back. He's a big physical back. He took a toll on it. And that's something, again, that Green Bay has to step up and improve on as the season goes forward.
Yeah, and Zadarius Smith stepped up in this game, which was good for you to see, I'm sure.
Definitely. Zadarius, again, Rashawn Gary had a career-high 7 pressures yesterday. Him, Preston, and Z all had a sack. That's another positive sign, right? I think Juwan James, their right tackle, is one of the lowest rated in the league, but Cam Robinson, pretty quality. Yeah. Norwell out there as well. So, it was good to see those guys get active, and I'm very excited about Rashawn because when he's been healthy, he's got some physical tools, and I think he's really worked on his game, and it's starting to show on the field.
Yeah, if you can get Rashawn Gary going, that's a difference maker for sure. Because I've never been a fan of that guy. Seems kind of lazy to me, personally. Is that a fair assessment or no?
Nah, I'm gonna disagree with you there. This offseason, he's worked hard, and he's really committed to his craft. The guy that's really been lacking a little bit this season has been Preston Smith. A lot of teams have been running towards him. He had a little bit better game yesterday. Overall, again, it was just another. It was good individual performances, but it's not where it needs to be as a team. And these are all still things they're going to work on going forward. It'll definitely be nice to hopefully get Jair and Kevin King back next week.
Yeah, because your lowest rated player in this game I think he's the lowest rated cornerback in the league this week was Chandon Sullivan.
Chandon had a rough.
Not a good game for him.
No, and I really like Chandon. Chandon's been a really good quality number 3 corner this week, but he did struggle. He had a pass interference call against him, and he got beat a couple times. It was definitely not his best game, but Kadar Holman stepped in yesterday. He was our 6th rounder out of Toledo in 2019. Not a great game, but he made plays when he needed to. A couple of nice third down stops. Wasn't afraid to get his nose in there and tackle people. So pretty good game from him in regards to him taking more snaps than usual.
Definitely. So who do the Packers have coming up here?
We are going to Indianapolis next week, so that'll be a good one.
Right.
Very
I
excited.
think you're underdogs.
We are 1.5 point underdogs. So we're going to be heading there. They flexed the game to the afternoon slot. But the one thing I want to address with you boys that needs to be highlighted, as the man deserves a lot of credit and for his hard work and deserves to be noted for this, David Bakhtiari. How about him becoming the highest paid offensive lineman in the league? The Packers extending him 4-year extension, $105 million. Base $23 million a year, and with incentives could reach $23.5 million. Super happy for that man. He's an incredible left tackle. Four-time All-Pro for the Packers. Only the second lineman in Packers history to do that. Proven to be one of the best at his position, and when he's healthy, great protection for the blind side in Green Bay, locked down. Now we have 2 contract players signed through 2024. David Bakhtiari and Kenny Clark.
There you go. And yeah, I would agree that he deserves that contract for sure. He's definitely it gives Aaron Rodgers forever to throw the ball. I don't know what it is, but defensive ends have really struggled with him. Has Khalil Mack had good success against him in the past? I don't know.
I think defensively we do fine, at least in the last couple of years with Khalil. But I mean, nobody's ever popped
Khalil
off.
was going against Bulaga a lot, though. Khalil was lined up against Bulaga a lot on that right side. But yeah, I mean, Bakhtiari for the most part is held it down just about anybody over the last few years, and it was super cool. He had Go ahead, Barney.
No. I was going to say, shockingly enough, it was always Leonard Floyd who was the guy that could get after Aaron Rodgers. That was the only guy he could ever sack.
That's true. Leonard Floyd did have some good games against us. But, it was funny. He just said it was real nice to see him in the press conference yesterday. Again, he seems like a really genuine dude. And he was just like, what is everybody saying about how are the Packers committing to a tackle long term like this? And he's just like, well, they didn't regret it in 13 when they drafted me. They didn't regret it in 16 when they signed me, and they're not going to regret it again here in 20. And it was just super cool to hear him say that, and how he's looking like hopefully he's going to finish his career as a Packer. So thought that definitely needed to be addressed, and that's big time, big news, and you should and definitely Packers fans should be excited for it.
And Remy, I was going to ask, have the Vikings had a lot of success against Bakhtiari? Do you know Everson Griffin or Danielle Hunter?
I know we have been getting sacks on him a couple times. I don't know if it's on Bakhtiari's side or not, but I mean we've sacked Rodgers a few times. I don't know if it was on his side or not.
Bakhtiari is one of the best guys in the league. I mean, it's a well-deserved contract. I'm happy because I thought he was going to be on the team regardless, and now that he's at least taking up that kind of a market share, that at least makes me a little bit happy that there's less money to go around for Aaron Rodgers to be better. But but he's been a staple. He's been great.
Yeah, and I can attest the Lions have not had great success rushing on him in the past, so there's that.
Well, he had a couple hands to the face. That's why.
Yeah, was that Bakhtiari? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I think it was. Trey Flowers.
I think it was him as well.
Yeah, bullshit. That's bullshit. I will be forever pissed about that one. Unbelievable. All right, so the Packers, they moved to 7-2 in first place in the NFC. Again, the Seattle Seahawks went from first in the NFC to seventh in the NFC in one weekend. So kind of crazy how that worked out for them. But before I move on to the Lions, I forgot to mention one thing to Remy before I move on to the Lions here that I didn't cover. Remy, do the Minnesota Vikings practice special teams? This is 2 weeks in a row where their special teams will look like the worst in the entire NFL. Missed extra point. Special teams return for a touchdown. I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, there definitely was some heat on the sideline regarding that issue. We'll get it figured out. But yeah, no, special teams. I mean, that could have cost us the game. Should have cost us the game.
I don't know what the name of the special teams coach is, but when he was getting absolutely chewed out by Zimmer, there wasn't a single person who was happier than the special teams coach on the ensuing, special teams play when Dwayne Harris dropped the punt and you guys got it. He was just running and like cheering. I don't think there was a single person in that stadium that cheered that much that entire game. It almost felt like a Nick Saban moment when Zimmer was going after him. I was like, oh boy.
All right, I just wanted to make sure I cover that. But let's move on to the last one of the NFC North here. That's, of course, my Detroit Lions with a big W. A win over the Washington football team, the Washington football team was 2-7. The Lions 4-5. Lions and Vikings now both 4-5. Bears 5-5. Packers with a big 7-2 lead in the division. But the Vikings are ahead of the Lions technically because they beat them. But we'll get them again. We got you again. As I mentioned, last game of the season, Remy. Don't forget
it's
it.
Gonna come
but
out.
Lions zoom out to a 24 lead with 7 minutes in the third quarter. And then they do what they do best. They blow a big double-digit lead, in this case 21 points. They had 3 3-and-outs in a row after that touchdown where they got up 24-3. The Redskins, or I keep doing that, Washington football team scores a touchdown to tie it up with, I'm looking right now, with 2:21 left to play. Oh, I'm sorry, no, with 2:44 left to play. The Lions have 11 plays, get a field goal. The Washington, they come right back down, tie it up with a field goal. And then the Lions with 16 seconds left. Never count Stafford out when there's time on the clock in the fourth quarter. That's one thing you cannot do. This man with 16 seconds left managed to somehow get 30 yards. And Prater with one of the biggest boots you'll ever see. I think that field goal would have been good from 70 yards. He's been struggling all year, so to have a big kick like that was incredible to see. That's a really positive thing going forward. But again, you can't count Stafford out. Granted, he got some help with a personal foul call to get it to midfield, but Stafford, another fourth quarter comeback. Yeah, Barney, you got something to say. What do you got to say? Come on.
I love Stafford. I think he's fantastic. But I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how dumb NFL players are. I mean, like Chase Young, just for no reason, just fucking smokes him. And it's like, dude, like I wanted you guys to lose because we had that season-long bet going. And I can't even get mad at them for throwing the flag there because I'm just like, how dumb are you people that like you're just gonna nail the quarterback when there's at that point like 10 seconds left in the game to give him a 15-yard. I just don't get it.
On that play too, he had a wide open receiver. Our receiver like kind of slowed down for some reason. Quintez Cephas, a rookie. Oh, it was so close to being a walk-off touchdown. But alas, it did not happen. But yeah, you're absolutely right, Barney. We got a gift there. It kind of made up for it because on the previous drive, the Redskins got into field goal range after completing a fourth down from a phantom pass interference call. Trufant was, playing clean, sound coverage, like maybe touched him with like his finger or two, but like again, it would have been another in a long line of Lions losses where we had a frustrating penalty to partially blame for. I'm not going to put all the blame on it if we did lose, but just like we were talking about the phantom hands to the face call. We're now talking about phantom pass interference. Like it just
what a
there's
boot.
A long list.
What a boot.
What unbelievable! That would I'm dead serious. I think it would have been good from 70 yards. He hit the middle lower part of the net on that kick.
That was an ugly kick. Like the second it came off, I'm like, I did not know where. I thought it was like who's that Blue Jays pitcher, the knuckleballer,
R.A. Dickey.
Yeah, I thought it was R.A. Dickey kicking from there. I was like, what in the hell is going on? And then it just kept going. I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna win this game.
I 100% thought the Lions were going to did everything in their power and were going to lose that game until Prater got the opportunity.
They tried, Kinger.
Until Prater got the opportunity, right? You know, I don't know. I had a gut feeling. Prater, to me, you're right, he hasn't done well this year, but he's been historically so good. When he got that opportunity, you know he's got a fucking cannon. So when he stepped up, I had a feeling the Lions were going to close it out.
So, and that was Prater's 100th game, by the way, for the Lions. I know I feel bad that he got released by the Broncos for his DUI and his drinking problems, but the Broncos' loss and his errors were our reward because he's been nothing but phenomenal for us the last 5+ years. It's insane how lucky we got because we were like Bears bad kicking for a while, and now we have Matt Prater and much more reliable. But anyways,
I appreciate you throwing a dig in there as if I didn't already have enough heartbreak today. Thank you for that.
Yeah. So the Lions, I mean, this coaching staff, it is incredible how they don't make second half adjustments, both on offense and defense. The Lions came out with a good game plan. Maybe they developed it right at halftime with, the 15 minutes to come up with a game script. But then Darren Bevel this season, it's amazing. This has happened time and time again where the defense, like Washington scores, whoever it may be, and then our offense goes 3 and out. The other team comes back out and scores again. It's just like, oh, here we go again. Same old story. And it's constantly like 3 and outs. Lions aren't getting any first downs. No adjustments are being made. I'm not sure what they're seeing. It's just mind-blowing. And defensively, it's just like, forget about it. The Lions had 56 offensive plays in this game. The defense had 88 plays. So there was 32 more defensive plays for the Lions, or 32 more offensive plays for the Washington team over our team. And yet we still pull out the win. Amazing. Thank God for Everson Griffin, Remy. He's been really good in the 2 games he's come over to Detroit. I think he had 4 or 5 pressures for us in this one, a sack, sniffed out a reverse for a big loss. So in the first quarter, the Redskins are driving. It's 2nd and 2 at the 15-yard line. They run a reverse 10 yards behind the line. Everson Griffin snips it out, and that makes it 2nd and like 17. And Alex Smith gets sacked by Romeo Quara, who has been easily the biggest improvement on the Lions this year by a wide margin. Lions pick him up out the practice squad from the Giants 2 years ago, and now he's our best defensive lineman. Kind of crazy. But Everson Griffin, big fan of him right now and what he's doing for Detroit. And they got him for nothing, like a 6th-round draft pick. I don't know if it's going to make a difference if we make the playoffs, but he's at least given us the best chance because we had nobody there before. And then the other big revelation in this game, 2 things. First of all, Washington has the best pass defense in the NFL, and I thought Matt Stafford played his best game of the year. And that's because he started deep passing. Marvin Jones, big success downfield in this game. But in addition to that, the biggest revelation was DeAndre Swift. Adrian Peterson finally got relegated to 4 carries in this game. DeAndre Swift gets 16 carries. He has 6 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown. Just a monster day for him. Top-rated running back per PFF. 2nd best graded receiver in the NFL, and except for Monday night, obviously. So just we need to utilize him way more. Way more. It was really good to see him utilized. Fans have been asking for it forever because it's just too obvious. Like, Adrian Peterson's slow, and he excelled in his 4 carries. I keep talking to Remy because, he has the closest connection to Adrian Peterson, but he's just not the same. But He did really good in his 4 carries in this game, had a catch for 10 yards. And that's what he needs to do going forward. He just doesn't have it anymore, but maybe he can be explosive for 4 or 5 plays. But DeAndre Swift, he is a revelation and something to look forward to going forward, too, for this Lions offense as well.
This was
Barney.
like the first time that you guys, in a while, right, have committed to a single running back being like the workhorse instead of, going by a committee, right? I mean,
I guess so. I mean, Peterson and Swift have definitely been splitting. Well, when we started the season, it was Peterson getting 80% of the carries. In this game, it was Swift. So, and it's been like a slow, progression. Like they met in the middle, getting 50% at one time, but now it's going the other way. Swift's getting more carries and Peterson's getting less, and that's the way it should be after looking at these running backs. Swift's clearly the better guy. Swift is not a great pass blocker, but he doesn't need to be because of how effective he is everywhere else around the game. But I love the way Stafford played in this game, even after getting his hand injured. He should be fine for the next week's game. We travel to Carolina. So the Lions at 4-5, they go to Carolina. Then they have the Texans on Thanksgiving. If they can get to 6-5 heading into Chicago, I like that. If the Lions, that's a good chance. If the Bears keep playing the way they are right now, get to 7-5, then they finish up with the Packers, Titans, Buccaneers, and Vikings. That's a gauntlet there in December and early January. But if they can get to 7-5, at least make it interesting for me. But
we're on the same boat here, Big Z.
Lions got to win out, Big Z. Lions got to win out to hit your preseason prediction.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Same goes to you as well, there, Barney. And actually, I think all of you guys all have 5 losses now, right?
Suck a dick, dude.
Wow. We'll see, boys. We'll see how those predictions go.
Oh man, and I do think 10 wins is what it's going to take to get to the playoffs. I mean, look at this: Packers 7-2, Saints 7-2, Cardinals 6-3. I'm reading in order of the seeding right now. Goddamn Eagles 3-5-1, first place in the NFC East, just beyond ridiculous. But then the Buccaneers 7-3, Rams and Seahawks both 6-3. I feel like 10-6 is going to be the metric to get into the playoffs. So there's very small room for error for both our Bears, Vikings, and Lions. The Packers obviously much more leeway, 3-game lead with 6 games to play. The Lions were actually there a few years ago. I can't remember which year. It was when Sue was still on the team, and they blew that lead. So you never know, Kinger. But the Packers are not the Lions in terms of historically blowing leads or in the standings or whatever it may be. So I have more faith in your Packers to hold this lead compared to the Lions.
Well,
5 years
and
ago
you got to remember,
it was.
3 of those 6 games are against our divisional opponents, which we know how that has gone for your respective teams the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That we will.
That's why they play the games, right? That's why they play the games. What they say.
Hey, Jacksonville just gave us a run. It means you guys can too.
Damn straight. Well, all right. I think that's going to wrap it up here. Talking about Week 10 of the NFL season again. There's 7 weeks ago. There's a lot to go over. The Barney, your Bears are on a bye week next week. They have a lot to go over. Maybe they'll learn offense in those 2 weeks.
I'm looking forward to a peaceful weekend.
Then I bet you are. And Remy, you're going into next week on fire. The Lions, some momentum with a win, and Kinger, your team's got a tough run ahead. But it should be a lot of fun. But thank you everybody for listening. Please follow us on Instagram at The Pylon. Every weekend there, we're also posting our best bets. So a lot of good stuff on there. So please follow us on there. And a lot of other content. That's just the one I remembered off the top of my head. And then please subscribe to us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, and please leave a review. Really appreciate it. So thank you everybody for listening. A big Z to Barney, Remy, Kinger, and our producer, Kid J. Thank you for listening, and we will see you later this week to preview Week 11 of the NFL season.